Under the law, waste oil tank drivers must dump their cargo at designated spots. But that's the law and not reality. The real situation is that waste haulers are dumping salt water and drilling mud all over the land and in the lakes and streams. A few weeks ago, Action 4 did an in-depth series on toxic waste in Oklahoma called No Place to Hide. A spokesman with the Oklahoma Corporation Commission said the illegal dumping is out of control and spreading like wildfire.
I think I should point out in many instances the truckers, when they have picked up this material, rather than going to the legal disposal site, will somewhere on an abandoned road, dirt road somewhere, pull the plug on those trucks, let this material flow.
Authorities say the oil boom in the state has caused the problem. Wells are being drilled at a record rate, and a lot of inexperienced people have gotten in the game.
There's so much drilling activity that it can't be regulated as closely as we would like for it to be, because you have new operators who are unfamiliar with the way, with regulations and with being regulated. You have people who have never been in the oil business before, because people are making money in oil right now, and they may be unaware of regulations. They may be out to beat the regulations.
The OCC can't possibly patrol every back road in the state. He says they need help from the people. The OCC needs to catch illegal dumpers red-handed to make the law stick. Carol Lambert, Action 4.
One of the positive aspects of the oil industry is the money it brings in to various businesses. A good example is the motel business.
80 to 90% of the people who stay in this motel in El Reno along I-40 are associated with the oil and gas industry. The manager says this figure holds true for most of the motels from El Reno to Shamrock, Texas.
The petroleum industry has been very good to us this past year to year and a half because of the boom in the area here and on west and northwest of Oklahoma here. So this has been very good in every way. They're super people from all walks of life, and we've just really enjoyed it.
Arthur adds that most businessmen in Oklahoma are overjoyed with the way the oil business is booming. You just have to take the negative aspects in stride. Ben McCain, Action 4 in El Reno.
After the storm moved through the downtown area, high winds tore the roof off several businesses in South Oklahoma City. High-speed gusts lifted the roof off a drilling equipment building and scattered bricks and broken debris across Southeast 29th Street. One rafter was driven into a windshield like a toothpick into butter. Power lines were also snapped. Workers in the area barely had time to rush into buildings as the storm snuck up on them.
Just a storm come rolling in, hit real fast. Plywood flying out in the parking lot like cardboard.
Down the street, more destruction. Roy Steffi had just closed his gas station when the storm struck. Winds lifted the roof off the building and slammed a garage door into his truck. Steffi estimates damage to his station at nearly $50,000. Machinists across the street also saw the storm hit.
And it started raining. It just come up all of a sudden, and it rained. It started when it started coming down. It was like hailing and stuff like that, and all of our doors and stuff was open. And it came in, started coming in the doors, and we started shutting everything down and got to looking outside. And the roof off of Roy Steffi's station was, well, some of the tile and stuff was coming off first, and then all of a sudden the parts of the roof was coming off. And it got to where you couldn't see, I'd say 10, 15 foot in front of you. It was like a tornado would hit. And it was, it's kind of scary.
Police and emergency crews could be found at numerous intersections trying to protect motorists from dead traffic lights and live wires down by the winds. From Southeast 29th Street, Tony Stizza, Action 4.
When lawmakers come back to the Capitol on Monday, they'll basically be deciding three things. First, whether to allow the governor to appoint replacements for those commissioners who have resigned, or whether to go ahead and give those counties some money so they can hold special elections. That would be costly, since as many as 100 commissioners may be implicated in the scandal. Replacing all of them could total over $1 million. The governor would prefer to name their replacements and let them face a general election late next year. Another item would require the immediate suspension of any commissioner who is convicted or pleads guilty to a crime. The way the law is now, some of those who have pled guilty have been staying on the job, drawing pay as well as retirement benefits. The governor also wants to make commissioners criminally liable if they give information in the probe. Some have been given immunity. So far, 38 people have been implicated in this scandal, including one lawmaker. The probe involves dozens of counties. The county commissioner scandal is the most far-reaching in state history, and lawmakers are going to have to clean up a corrupt system they helped create. It could take a long time, but at least by the end of next week, they will have made a beginning. Bella Shaw, Action 4 at the state capitol.
I'm Carol Lambert. It's been almost 3 weeks since Seagram's decided to pull out of Oklahoma. And then, as you know, Buckingham and Paddington decided to do likewise. Well, we decided to do some checking today and see how some of your favorite brands are holding out. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm going to be needing some liquor, and I just wanted to check to see what you have. Do you have any Chivas in stock?
No, sure don't.
No Chivas? What about Cuddy?
No, we're
J&B?
out.
What about Seagram's?
We have 1/2 pint of Seagram 7. This is it. All of it.
Well, thanks anyway. I guess I better check somewhere else.
Well, I hope you have good luck, but I don't think you'll find anything.
Guess I'll try. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Hi, how are you?
I'm trying to find some of these brands of liquor. Do you have any of these in stock?
Yes, we have all of them. Sure do.
These brands may be hard to find, but if you'll call around, you might be in luck. You'll find some stores still have them in stock. But if you want large quantities, you may have some trouble. Many stores are limiting these hard-to-get brands to 1 or 2 bottles per customer. Even at that rate, you'd better hurry. Most brands are moving so fast, it's like they're disappearing off the shelves. Carol Lambert, Action 4.
OBN agents are working around the clock in McIntosh County. They're busy destroying several patches of marijuana in a 30-acre area located approximately 11 miles southeast of Henrietta. Agents have also confiscated 2 patches near Hannah. So far, only 1 man has been arrested, but authorities say more arrests will be made. The patches discovered near Henrietta are believed to be part of a sophisticated operation. In fact, some new farm machinery, irrigation equipment, and tools have been confiscated. Scott Mitchell, a spokesman for the Bureau of Narcotics, says thousands of pounds of the illegal weed have already been destroyed.
None of our agents have estimated as of yet what this is going to be, but it's probably going to run into several millions of dollars. But at this point, what the Bureau of Narcotics is happy to say is it's worth nothing now because we've destroyed all of it. This is dope that will never meet the streets.
Are there a lot of people growing marijuana in the Henrietta area?
It's a big problem down the southeast part of the state. A lot of dope is grown down in here because the climate is such that it's very good for the marijuana. Most of the marijuana I saw in here was probably in the 8 to 12 foot range. And it's very good marijuana as far as marijuana goes. So you have a very good climate, plus the fact that the terrain is such that you can't hardly see it unless you are right on top of it.
State narcotics agents have destroyed 6 to 8 acres of the illegal weed since Saturday. They're expecting to find more marijuana, or wacky tobacco as some people call it, in the next few days. Ben McCain, Action 4 near Henrietta in McIntosh County.
State Auditor and Inspector Tom Daxon has been in the forefront lately, telling people about his role of auditing Oklahoma's 77 counties. There are a number of procedures he goes through. One of them is an affidavit the county commissioners must sign, saying they have never received a kickback, gift, fee, or any other compensation for doing business. If you refuse to sign, you must resign or face charges for refusal to sign. Daxon says that's the reason the people in Woodward County didn't receive their audit. The commissioners wouldn't sign.
One thing that's different from what you do have in public accounting is they are required to sign these under oath. But the law, the Oklahoma law, stipulates that if the county officials fail to make the representations requested of them concerning county business, that they are then guilty of a misdemeanor and subject to ouster from office.
So these affidavits have given prosecutors another bit of evidence to play with. If county commissioners aren't convicted of kickbacks or some other crime, they can always be tried for perjury. Bella Shaw, Action 4 at the state capitol.
I'm Carol Lambert. The excitement's over here at Andrews Square, and most of the things seem to be getting back to normal. The residents are in good spirits and seem to be satisfied with the way the fire was handled this morning.
I mean, it's such a shock and such a everything that I can't believe it's happened, really. I just can't.
Well, it's
just
over.
Thank goodness that we're all living.
Oh, I feel all right now. I'm just glad that there wasn't anyone hurt, you know, and only, you know, Mr. Tash, of course.
Officials now believe the fire was caused by a smoldering cigarette. The reason it was contained to the one apartment was because of the cement firewalls which prevent the flames from spreading. To ensure further safety, all apartments are equipped with a hallway emergency light to alert both residents and firemen of pending danger. Regular fire drills are held for the 200 senior citizens in the complex to familiarize them with the exits and stairways located at both ends of the hallways. The complex manager says smoke alarms and neighborly help are key issues in maintaining emergency safety. No dollar figure has been estimated on the damage, but workmen are busy cleaning up the mess. It's reported that even Mr. Tash, whose apartment was burned early this morning, is ready to move back in. Carol Lambert, Action 4 at the Andrews Square Apartments. On July 16, 1978, 6 employees were found dead at the Sirloin Stockade restaurant at 74th and South Penn. Roger Dale Stafford later stood trial for this brutal homicide, was found guilty on all 6 counts before County District Judge Charles Owens. About 2 weeks ago, the Court of Criminal Appeals removed Jay Brewer as acting attorney for Stafford. Today, Roger Stafford was again before Judge Owens' bench, this time to get a new attorney to represent him. Judge Owens asked Stafford if he could now afford legal counsel.
Well, I cannot, but my family has. Mr. Garvin Isaac, my family.
Judge Owens approved Garvin Isaacs as the new counsel for Stafford. He'll have 6 months in which to file his first brief with the court. Isaacs was also the attorney for Gene Leroy Hart, the man who was found not guilty in the Girl Scouts murder case near Pryor. After the hearing today, Isaacs indicated a new trial motion might be filed based on new evidence that's surfaced.
One of them deals with newly discovered evidence, a witness that was in Arkansas. Now this is all on hearsay, and I haven't investigated it. I don't know, I don't know whether these allegations are true yet, but I'm working on it, trying to find out the location of the witness and why she was held in Arkansas under the name Jane Doe during the time this trial was conducted.
Roger Dale Stafford has been given permission to remain in Oklahoma City to confer with his attorney, Garvin Isaacs, until noon of next Wednesday. During that time, they'll review records and transcripts from his previous murder trial. Carol Lambert, Action 4 at the county courthouse.
"34-year-old Gary Kempton Wagner lives in this farmhouse. It's located about 2 miles east of Morris in eastern Oklahoma. Wagner won't be sleeping here tonight, though. He's in jail. He was arrested on complaints of cultivation of marijuana and possession with intent to distribute. OBN agents raided Wagner's farm last night and found 2 fields, marijuana plants drying in a barn, and from 60 to 100 pounds of bagged marijuana. One of the fields was booby-trapped with pipe bombs.
You'd take a pin, run it through that hole with some sort of a wire, and then you would rig it to where if you're walking through there and the line's running this way and you kick it out, it goes like that. With the load in here with the shotgun shell, it's just going to be like a striker and a shotgun. It's going to hit that shell and set it off. Real easy principle. It's like a zip gun, and real dangerous, real dangerous.
Mitchell says the marijuana operation near Morris was indeed sophisticated. This man, he said, was not your run-of-the-mill pot grower.
About 1,300 people live in Morris. It's a quiet little community. The town revolves around the high school. In fact, the Morris Eagles will play Stigler tonight. You can bet at the football game there will be a lot of talk about the bust of the sophisticated marijuana operation. A lot of people will be surprised to hear about the operation, and others, well, they knew it was going on.
When you see people going up and down the street talking about it, now it's getting pretty bad. I think they'll look around, they'll find a lot more of it around.
The area here is so, I don't know, it's so open, so many roads, people could drive in, go through the backside of your land and plant and harvest a crop without ever knowing it was there.
Narcotics agents have been extremely busy making marijuana raids this week. They say there will be more. Ben McCain, Action 4, Morris.
"27-year-old Michael Newberry appeared briefly before Logan County District Judge Merle Smith today. Newberry is charged with the sex slaying of 15-year-old Janella K. Garrett of Marshall. Her body was found in a ditch last month near Lovell. Newberry entered a plea of not guilty, and yesterday the court appointed an attorney to represent him. Bert Richard will remain the defense attorney at the request of Newberry. After the arraignment, Attorney Richard talked about what led to his client's arrest.
That there are some bits of evidence that the OSBI laboratory has analyzed. Fiber samples, I understand, were removed from the home of my client, and I would assume, based on my experience in past cases, that those were taken to compare with samples found at the scene of this homicide. I have not been given access to any technical reports yet, and ordinarily those require the filing of a discovery motion and the judge ruling on it, and I assume that'll be done in the due course of this case.
Were you informed how would the OSBI even be led to this particular man to check for fiber?
Well, I understand from talking to my client, from what I've heard in the media, that my client was working in the Marshall area installing TV antennas basically, and was at the residence where the victim of this homicide was babysitting, and evidently was one of the last people to see her alive before he left that community.
The judge set a preliminary hearing date for October 19th at 10 o'clock in the morning. Since this is a murder case, no bail was granted. The defense didn't give any indication as to what would be its main argument, but did say there was enough evidence to show his client's innocence. Ed Stewart, Action 4 at the Logan County Courthouse.
The OU campus, known for football and now Preppies. Until recently, I thought Preppies was a social disease, but much to my excitement, and everyone else's, I discovered it has to do with a returning lifestyle that could shove the Western craze back out east where it belongs. There are Preppy drinking shirts, Preppy scrapbooks, Preppy stationery, calendars, and photo displays. For school supplies, the official Preppy book bag, and of course, if you don't know how to do it, the Preppy handbook.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, there's too much to take in at a glance, but a quick look at the handbook gives you the impression that being a preppy has a lot to do with the way you look. You may not believe this, but sometimes people tell me I don't know how to dress. So to be a proper preppy, you have to go to a proper preppy apparel place.
Are you here to fix the plumbing?
No, I'm here for a complete preppy outfit.
Okay, well, we've got just the thing for you. First, let's get rid of all these synthetic clothes you have on right now. To start off, we'll take a Kelly Green Lacoste weave Izod knit shirt. We'll match this up with a 100% cotton pink Oxford polo button-down. To accent this layered look, you'll wear our classic chino cloth khaki pant. Tie in argyle socks, cordovan dyed Weegian penny loafers by Bass. Every occasion is appropriate with a 3-button all-wool blazer from Southwick.
Well, what does it come to?
That'll be $262.25. Will that be cash, check, or charge?
$262.25.
You know, I'm not exactly sure what the advantages are to being a preppy, but I suspect they're too expensive. I mean, what's wrong with this outfit anyway? I got it for only $2.98 at the thrift shop. Ted Brown, Action 4, Norman.
I'm sure the producers of First Monday in October were delighted to see that President Reagan supplied the best kind of advertisement and publicity for this picture, that by his nomination of Sandra O'Connor to the Supreme Court. The movie is a delightful experience which I think will do well at the box office. The reason? The middle-aged movie crowd who are Walter Matthau fans. He portrays a liberal justice, Dan Snow, in the mold of the late William O. Douglas. Jill Clayburgh is Justice Ruth Loomis, a staunch conservative from California. When the word first goes out that a woman has been appointed, the reactions are surprising and mixed. Justice Dan Snow happily accepts the nomination, but that radically changes when he finds out it is, as he puts it, the Mother Superior of Orange County.
That woman is positively dangerous. The men on this court have got to stick together, Mason. After all, there are only 8 of us left against all of her.
That's his basic reaction. The first big confrontation comes when the justices prepare for the new session, which, by the way, starts on the first Monday of October, hence the title of the movie. Get it?
Well, where is she?
Maybe we ought to sound the warning buzzer a little sooner. I suppose she has things to do that we don't.
After all, I don't have anything to do with my hair.
This is an historic occasion.
Like the Jesuits going co-ed.
You suppose you'll want to hang chintz curtains everywhere? I hate chintz.
Why am I nervous? She's the one who should be nervous.
Now, gentlemen, things are not going to be any different from the way they've been every 2 minutes to 10 in the history of the court. Now, you've got to think of her exactly as one of the brothers.
Good morning.
Justice Loomis, welcome. Welcome to the court.
Thank you.
Nice to have you with us.
Good morning,
ma'am.
Thank you for the lovely roses.
You don't send me roses anymore, CJ.
It's 9:58, gentlemen and Madam Justice.
We shake hands like this every day, every morning just before we take the bench.
Like 9 boxers coming into a ring. We shake hands before we knock each other out.
There are some brilliant confrontations between Mathau and Clayburgh, 2 in particular. They hold mock trials between themselves, one questioning the other. The 2 big issues used in the film are pornography and a case involving a gigantic corporation. It turns out that Clayburgh's late husband once had dealings with the company. Clayburgh and Mathau give us great performances. The script is good, but lacked substance in some areas. I will say there were some things left undeveloped. There are a few other incidents that come out in the film. I'm not going to talk about them because I want you to see this movie. It brings up some interesting questions, questions we may see in real life in the near future. I'm Dean O'Lally.
Traffic in and around the University of Oklahoma was a lot heavier than normal today. The OU-Wyoming game this afternoon formally kicked off the OU football season, and that's always a favorite event across the state. Traffic was slow and bogged down in and around the university starting at mid-morning, as sports fans drifted into the area all day, trying to avoid a pre-game rush. A number of police departments were involved in the effort of keeping the cars moving. Streets near Owen Field were closed to two-way traffic to accommodate the weekend glut. The traffic getting to Norman, Oklahoma, home of the Sooners, was not a problem. Congestion on I-35 was considerably lighter than traffic on a normal Friday night. That seems to be because drivers spaced out their travel over the morning and early afternoon hours. The real road traffic problem should be about now, when all the fans who packed Owen Stadium for the game are trying to get home to celebrate an OU victory. Charles Schnitzer, Action 4, in Norman, Oklahoma.